Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Rei-Lin bringing you a preview of a game that's a little bit different than most of the ones I've been doing lately. This is actually Tom Clancy's The Division by UbiSoft. I know absolutely nothing about this game. I got a Skype message from a friend that said, hey, the beta is going to be up this weekend and I should maybe check it out if I'm interested. And I just more or less just grabbed it because it was on Steam, downloaded it. It was a quick download, and was pleasantly surprised to find that it's basically a first-person shooter in the third person MMORPG. I mean, it's got all of those elements plus the shooting, and it looks really good. And for me personally, I think it looks amazing. Tom Clancy, of course, is kind of the famous novelist that did just tons and tons of stuff. Hunt for Red October, Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell, End Wars. Of course, he passed away many years ago at this point, but his legacy lives on in this game, The Division. Essentially, the story is just that some bad guys kind of release a smallpox sort of virus on Black Friday in New York City and in other cities around the United States, and it's pretty much sent all of those cities and places into chaos. And your job is to go in and bring order back to the city and retake it from all of the rioters and other people that have kind of gone rogues, firemen and whatnot. Other people are coming in here to vie for superiority and take back the city in their own ways. And you're pretty much allowed to go in, given the 2 thumbs up from the President of the United States, to go in and do whatever you need to do to take the city back and bring it back under control. And as you can see, I mean, the graphics look really good. I mean, I had this thing as maxed out as I could get it. And these are just some of the storylines. It's all voice, and they take it very, very serious. You're not going to have any bad acting as far as what I could tell. There's voices everywhere, and these little cinema cutscenes are also pretty good. You can skip them, of course. It's just giving you a little preview here of kind of how the game moves along. You essentially start the game coming in on a helicopter, and this is kind of your commander, Faye, and she already had gotten screwed up. You almost died. She brings you back, and you pretty much just end up just like this, right on the street, with some starter weapons. You have a main weapon, a secondary weapon, and a sidearm, basically a pistol. The main draw of this game is the cover system. You can use pretty much any frickin' thing you want as cover. You don't actually have a jump key in this. Your spacebar actually activates your cover mechanic. And so you don't jump. Now, you have a lot of parkour stuff that you can do. You have certain buttons that you can set up, and you can set it to automatically pretty much jump over or climb up or down anything that you're able to. If you're kind of sprinting towards a car, for example, you'll sort of do a Dukes of Hazzard slide across the hood, or you'll leap up over small boxes and things like that. The cover is extremely important because, as you can see, the health bar right in the middle of the screen, the orange bar there, it's only 3 blocks, so pretty much every hit's going to drain one whole block, and you don't naturally heal over time. You do a little bit, and you see, and I did a YOLO right off there, and I'm already down 1 block, and I end up right into a firefight. Luckily, I leveled up from that kill, which saved my ass, because I would have been completely outgunned here with all of these guys and tossing grenades. Luckily, it's just smoke grenades, which kind of throws off your targeting systems. You see you got like a little UI, and when you're in the smoke, you can see like that. It becomes a status effect where it's hard for me to aim. If I had the volume up, you could hear that the sounds become really muffled, and it just makes it harder for you to be accurate with your shots. It has a full-on MMO feel to it as far as, enemies drop loot. You can pick up scraps of stuff to bolster your armor. You can disassemble guns and armor to get things to make new mods for your guns, new mods for your armor, or to upgrade your base. Mainly your base of operations, where you saw the cinema just a minute ago with Faye, is your home base. You go there and you upgrade it using stuff that you find out here in the open world. As you're running around, you'll run into all kinds of stuff out here. There's little mini side missions There's big, what they call missions that are basically like raids. They're 5-6 man parties, something like that, where you can group up with other players. I didn't really see in the world that other players, it seems like when you come out of the hubs or out of your home place, you're basically running around in an instance that's just by yourself unless you're in a group with some friends. And you don't really see other people, so you don't have to worry about fighting mobs and somebody comes up and steals your loot or something like that. It's pretty much, unless you group up with party members or you go into an actual raid, there's no interaction with other players pretty much in the world. It's sort of like it's an MMO only in some aspects. And as you can see here, I'm going through my inventory, checking out what kind of armor I have, what kind of weapons I have, because stuff drops all the time. And you have health bar, and you have so much DPS, damage per second, and you have skills. You get different skills as you upgrade your base. Your home base actually allows you to make better mods, have machine gun turrets go with you. I actually end up here later on in the video, you'll see that I end up getting a health, a healing spell. Essentially, I become a white mage for a little bit. It's on a cooldown, so I don't have to worry that I would ever run out, because you do get stim packs, which do heal you, but you're limited on how many you can carry to about 3. But the healing you get from raising the level of your home base is a permanent thing. You can just use it as many times as you want. It's got about a 20-second cooldown, which is really nice. So it definitely has more of an RPG feel in that aspect. You have the skills, you have healing, you have tanking skills, you have different weapons for different situations. You can see here that I'm still using the trusty machine gun that I got, and it's a primary weapon. I generally don't switch over to the Uzi very much, and I never did really use the pistols. I didn't see much reason to use it, because at this close range, your machine gun just does so much more damage. You might as well just use it. And you see you're making effective use of the cover, and then you can climb up. You can switch positions. This is literally the first half hour of me playing the game when I really wasn't getting in too well with the mechanics. So I ended up running back over here because I saw there were some guys there, and this is kind of how some of your encounters are. If you're not going to a specific mission, you'll just be running down the street and run into people that are robbing people or killing somebody else or doing whatever, and they will automatically aggro to you, just like these guys, and just start shooting at you. So you have to kind of be ready. You see he's tossing grenades. You can roll and get out of the way a little bit faster. There's not a whole lot to be said about it. The roll doesn't make you invincible. It just lets you move and hopefully dodge a few shots. You can see that I'm standing in the smoke grenades effects there, so everything kind of gets blurry and makes it harder for me to see and aim. This here is a new objective. I was going somewhere else. I wasn't actually planning to do anything with this, and just running across, and it pops up as like an auto acceptable quest. So now I'm sitting here, and I got some troops out there that are going to be helping me, but for the most part it's just me and them trying to stave off getting ran over by a group of mercenaries that are coming out of this alley across the street here. And I still haven't learned that when you're trying to go from cover to cover, if you're in cover and you scan over, you'll see like right there, it pops up for just a second by that wall, that I can actually go to that wall without breaking my cover. If you hold down your spacebar, you'll actually, like right there on that car, on that wall, you see a little spacebar icon pop up. Now it's just telling me that if I wanted to, if I hold the spacebar down, it'll run me over to that cover while I also stay in cover. See here, I messed up. I was trying to pull myself out of cover to stand up to run to the next thing. You don't have to do that. You can just hold the spacebar down, and you'll automatically go to whatever cover you're looking at that's in front of you. So it's a lot more useful because you'll stay lower and harder to hit while you're changing spots. Eventually I do pick up a little bit more knowledge of that when I start figuring out my keys. As I said, this is pretty much just like the first 45 minutes. See right there, that says that if I had held down the spacebar, I would have gone around the corner and ducked behind that barrier instead of what I'm doing here. And of course, you know, you get different, several waves do come at you. See right there's a guy that's on my side. And I'm just trying to help them out. And you do have grenades. A minute ago you saw that the enemies throw a lot of grenades, but I can have grenades too. And you can aim them, and you can toss them kind of wherever you want. They generally have like an area of effect, and they do a lot of damage. So if you see the enemy tossing grenades your way, you got to make sure to get the hell out of the way, or you're going to lose a lot of health. As you see, I'm kind of hurt here and trying to switch between whatever weapons I want. That guy made a mistake. The NPC just ran right at me into a hail of gunfire like an idiot. But that's okay. He dropped me some ammunition to restock my main gun. And so there we go. Mission completed. But wait, there's more. So some of these objectives, you have several pieces to it. It's kind of like a multi-stage objective. You're not going to know that, as I didn't know that until, you know, I finished off that guy. And now, boom, the encounter's complete. So part of your objectives as you're running around might be, a minute ago it was to get to a certain point, so you clear the area of hostiles and protect my allies. So this time it's not necessarily wanting me to go pick up any packages or do anything crazy. It just wants me to help them out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do a lot of damage to these guys because I do have their flanks, which is a good thing. So they're actually in a crossfire right now between me and my buddies that are out there helping me. I'm just trying to be real careful because I've already taken a hit and I'm down to just 2 bars of health. Now you see I do regen a little bit, but there's a lot of damage that you'll take that actually becomes permanent damage and you will not naturally regenerate it. I'm sure if you log out and log back in the game, you'd probably be regen, but you'd also be back in a hub and lost any kind of progression you might have had. Now, I don't think it's a perfect game. I don't think the cover system is the most perfect thing because, well, it might just be my inexperience. In my experience, it tends to sometimes be really sticky. Like, you get behind cover and the game just doesn't want to let you leave that cover. I took a lot of damage several times because I was behind cover, but the enemies don't always just let you sit there and continue to take pot shots at them. If they know you're behind a box and they're just wasting their ammunition, they'll actually just start YOLOing right at you. They'll come right at your face and start guns a-blazing, and your cover becomes pretty much useless. So obviously in response to that, if I see somebody doing that, then I would rather get the hell out of the cover and run my ass off to either new cover or just to change positions very quickly. And here you see right there, that's what I was talking about. I'm just holding the spacebar and selecting where to run to next, and I stay low and in cover, so I didn't even take any damage while I'm running all the way forward here to get to this better flanking position on the bad guys. So you can just hold like that, and I'll hold it down the entire time, and when I get here, she'll automatically stop, and then boom, I just start wailing on these guys and take them down to help my buddies and get some more experience. As you can see, just like any RPG, I do gain experience every time I kill something. Enemies sometimes drop things, sometimes they don't. In general, the combat itself feels really smooth. Like I said, it just feels a little sticky on the cover system, and for me personally, it's just really awkward to not be able to jump. I wish that you could jump as well as have the cover system. It'd just be a different button than spacebar. It just feels a little less first-person shooter, and I guess in some ways more RPG, because you don't have a jump. But it's really awkward because there are positions that I got into, like say on a small ledge or a part of the sidewalk that was raised just up enough to where my character just would not go jump down or get up on that ledge. I had to have to go all the way around and climb upstairs and whatnot. Now this is something that I never seen before, never heard of. This is called an echo. And if any of you have played any of the PlayStation, Xbox Batman games, where he went into detective mode, that's kind of what this is. It sort of recreates a crime scene for you, and there's voices and things going on, so you're literally picking up the audio from whatever was actually happening when you activate this echo. There are a few quests in the early game, I'm still kind of in the early game, where it's asking you to find out about Faye's sister, and you'll use an echo like this, and you can go up to them, and you can see it tells you if they're injured, if they're alive, if they're dead, where they were last seen. It pretty much gives you a lot of information, and if you talk to some of these NPC echoes, it'll actually give you more information and send you along on another quest. Now, by this point, I found a better weapon. This is an actual sniper rifle. It does a lot of damage and gives you bonus headshot damage. If you're a sniper, you're going to really like using this thing. Now, this, actually, I just accidentally found this. So you see, boom, headshot. Aha, he's gone. But the other guy, as you'll see here, he's got a different colored life bar. He's got a yellow life bar. And that signifies that he's actually a boss. And as you can see, just from 2 shots, I almost died, literally, just from his couple of hits. And he's able to take a lot of health off of me, and he has a lot of health. And it just doesn't seem like it was going down. And I'm trying my best just to not take damage and just trying to unload as full as a clip as I can into him because I know how much he hurts. I was actually running down this thing and ran into him accidentally. Didn't know he was here, and he destroyed me the first time. So this is actually my second attempt at taking him out. And he dropped some a good loot. So, moving on into the game, this is one of the first missions you do. And this mission is soloable, but it's actually kind of difficult. Now I get to use my trusty sniper rifle that I got from a boss fight. Boom, headshot. The missions are generally kind of like any MMO, like say World of Warcraft or Guild Wars, any kind of MMO you can think of, where it's multi-staged. That was the very first stage. You walk into a restaurant and you're trying to clear it out, and this is like the final stage where you're going to get to the end boss of the instance. And you see him way back there. He's got the red triangle over his head, and he's got a lot of minions. Basically, there's you went in here to rescue a doctor so that you could bring him back to your base and have an actual surgeon that can help you out. And the objective here was to save that helicopter that's came in to pick everybody up. You can shoot actually like that. You can see me just not having to stand up. If you just try to fire, you will just kind of plunk your gun over the top of whatever you're hiding behind and just shoot randomly at stuff. Obviously, the likelihood that you'll hit anything is much, much lower because you can't zoom in and you can't be accurate. But it does help if the guy's almost dead and you can just take a few shots and hope you get lucky. I'm trying to snipe. He's kind of far away, so the scope isn't giving me more or less enough to actually shoot him. Plus, I wasn't sure how much range the gun actually had. I'm just kind of waiting out his hailstorm of bullets, trying to make sure these guys with the baseball bats don't get up too close to me, because they are melee fighters, and melee in this game seems to do a lot of damage. If those guys get up close to you, they'll just do what people with baseball bats would generally do to people, and they just wreck your face. But he's running straight ahead into a sniper rifle bullet, so you can see the kind of damage that I'm doing. Basically, it hits for double damage when you hit him in the head, and so that's what I'm focusing on. He's just going crazy with his, looks like a minigun or some kind of heavy machine gun, and I don't even care. I want to kill his minions so they can't get to me. But you see, it doesn't take him long to reload, and he's already back firing away. But he's changing positions now because he's seen me and I actually moved up enough to get a better line of fire to him. And you don't have to use the sniper rifle as a pure sniper rifle either. You can do this. You don't have to be zoomed in to fire it. It still makes a very effective up close and personal weapon. Plus, I leveled up right at the end. The boss gave me enough experience to level up, and he dropped something. It's usually armor or a weapon. I think green denotes mods and armor. But yeah, it's really fun. And here's the cinema when you get that mission done and you've rescued the doctor. This is what you go back and you start to upgrade your base and get more perks and get more skills. As I said, there's different wings in the beta, which is what this was when I played over the weekend. This beta only had 2 wings open, the technological wing, which gave you a mission to rescue somebody to bring them back so that you can open up your tech wing. And then this is the medical wing. I went in and rescued the doctor. We're basically having a little talk here about having her help us. And then this upgraded the medical wing, gave me more perks, gave me stronger heals, and I became, slowly started to become a very tough nut to crack when I went through one of the other missions, which the second mission is much more difficult than this one. It's much more epic. It's longer. There's a lot more enemies, a lot more dangerous enemies. They throw a lot of stuff at me, but thankfully I had the health and I had the sniper rifle to kind of clean stuff out, because a lot of the enemies in that section of the mission were longer range fights. So in a long range fight, it did me a lot of good to have the sniper rifle. But you can see, the graphics are great, the voice acting is great, the mechanics and the cover is great. It has a very, very, very good potential to become a really, really excellent game. With the cover mechanics and the RPG elements, it just takes it to that next level. Honestly, it's a lot of fun. There is PvP. I didn't even get to show you any of that because there just wasn't much time for me to play. But they call it the Dark Zone, and supposedly that is where you're going to get the best items in the game, from weapons to armor. That's where all the best stuff is going to come in. And you can go in there, and it's essentially a free-for-all PvP zone. There are NPCs you can kill. There are NPCs, probably world bosses too. But there are also players. Now, you can team up with the other people, but you're teamed up in the sense of, hey, let's work together and till I get something really good, and then you're going to kill me. If you go into the Dark Zone, find some weapons, find some armor, something you really like. They're considered contaminated, quote-unquote, contaminated loot. Now, if you get killed while you're carrying this loot, you drop it all on the ground. You lose it all, and any other player can come up and take it from you. The only way you can take that loot and keep it is that you have to get to an extraction point, and they're on your map. You'll see them. They're somewhat large zones, and you go to an extraction point, and you're basically shooting a flare up in the air, and you summon a helicopter. And you have to defend that zone from other players who will also know that you're trying to extract something for about 3 minutes. If you're successful, the helicopter lowers a little basket. You throw all the loot that you got in the Dark Zone into it. They whisk it away, they decontaminate it, and drop it off to you later. And that's how you get some of the best stuff. So at the moment, I only saw like up to 24 versus 24, or maybe just 24 people total could be in the Dark Zone. I'm sure that number will increase. The Dark Zone areas are a big part of the city, and there's probably going to be a lot more Dark Zones as they open up bigger and bigger sections of New York or wherever they decide to send us. But in the end, I think the game itself is extremely, extremely fun, and the PvP is probably going to be, outrageously hilarious, especially if you've got two large groups of people just going in there and raising all kinds of hell and trying to be sneaky or just guns a-blazing and trying to get some good loot. So overall, I give it a thumbs up, even though I didn't have that much time to play. When I had time to play, I did enjoy it. I thought it was a breath of fresh air, especially since the last time I played like a first-person shooter MMO type of game was Defiance, and even though I liked Defiance, there just really wasn't all that much to do. It definitely didn't feel the same as the Division does as far as the RPG elements. It was more open world, and you just happen across some stuff. This is similar, but there is a storyline. There is objectives that come up because, like I said, you are part of a team that the presidents gave the thumbs up to go in and do what you have to do. So there is a storyline. There are missions. There are side missions. There are missions that are just off the grid. You're just kind of wandering through the city and come across people that need help, and you can help them. And then there's the Dark Zone, which has a lot of the best weapons and gear in the game, and it becomes a free-for-all PvP zone, or if you're just really good at stealthing around, you're probably going to end up having fun even in that aspect of it. It's coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC on March 8th. You can pre-purchase and pre-order the game right now. They have several different packages that you can get. It just basically gives you extra stuff at the start of the game and titles and stuff like that. So if that's something you're interested in, you can follow the link. I'll put it down in the description to go to the website. And that will do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please press the like button down below. It really helps me out. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can click down at the bottom of your screen in just a second, and that'll give you the latest updates every time I upload a new video, whether it's on Armored Warfare, Blade and Soul, Black Desert, or now it's going to be Tom Clancy's The Division. I'm definitely going to spend some time with this one. It looks and plays really well, and I had a lot of fun. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time.